Welcome to the Bush League Maniac. This is my first video. It's a tutorial how to assemble a Warrior Gear jump ruck. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it helps you out. Alright folks, first video here. Getting a lot of questions on the rucking groups and how to build your jump ruck, right? So today we're going to talk about the Warrior Gear setup. I don't work for Warrior Gear, but I do use a lot of their stuff. I've done a lot of these build-ups for guys in the battalion. So to get started, you're going to want to have some tools available, make your life a little bit easier. Start with a knife, a pair of scissors, some kind of pliers. You're going to want a lighter, some paracord, airborne retainer bands, types of tape, right? We got hockey tape here and some duct tape, as well as if your frame comes to you all beat up in silver, maybe think about some spray paint just to dull that shine a little bit. And then before you do your build up, beverage of your choice. There's a number of frame options available for a jump ruck. Okay, starting with your normal Alice frame, right? This is US issue back in the day. Most of them you're going to find now are going to be made by Rothco, made in China. However, if you can get a good issued one, they're pretty tough. The Rothco ones, they'll work for most people, but however, if you are going to be jumping it, you might want to look for something a little bit stronger, right? It's a lot more flexible metal. This is the Tactical Tailor Malice frame, right? It's the same dimensions as the Alice pack frame, except that they've given more of a cutout, and this will sit better over top of your plates. Supposedly it's lighter, and all the connection points are welded as opposed to rivets. Okay, it's a good option, but it's pretty spendy. Finally, you're going to see the standard jump frame, right? The 64 pattern frame. These were Canadian issued. You'll find them various states of serviceability. All right, a lot of these rivets are popped. You want to be looking at all the little surface areas for cracks and denting and warping. All right. Points to note with the Alice frames. As you can see, it's more of an L shape, right? And by the time you get your pad on there, you got this wide open area. Same for the Malice frame, right? This is definitely going to help you out when you're wearing your plates. It'll leave room for your rear plate. As well as once we get into the build, you'll see that this is some good usable space behind your hip pad here. All right, we'll get into that. Another option, if you really don't like money, is a Mystery Ranch. Nice frame. Okay, it can work with a jump ruck. Relatively comfortable. It's definitely more adjustable for your height. But again, that's a cost prohibitive item unless you really make officer money. Alright, just to get into the weeds a little bit more on the Alice frame itself, right? This is one of the ones that is going to be easier for you to find. So the majority of this video is going to be based on a run-up on this actual frame. Alright, you're going to want to note these two rings here. Make sure that they're present when you get your frame. These two flexible rings, as well as this piece of sheet metal that holds the rings in place. Ensure that it's not split or cracked at any of these points. Alright, that's going to help you out down the road. Check over all your rivets, top and bottom of the crossbar, as well as the sides, and the actual spacer brackets here. Check them, alright? Give it a wiggle, make sure it's not loose and rattling, and then just make sure everything's flexible, or not, correction, inflexible. And you can see the bendiness of that Chinese metal there. Alright, so this pad set and the Alice frame itself was provided for this video by Warrior Gear. So I'm going to talk through a lot of these steps without actually following up and finalizing them on this frame. Specifically adding tape and things. I don't want to be marking up their gear. Okay, but anyway, the first thing you're going to want to do is take your yoke and your hip belt. Okay, and you're going to lay them face down. You'll know it's face down. You have this porous padded mesh portion on your table, right? Once that's laid out, lay your frame over top approximately where it's going to land. You're going to just start lining things up just to get an idea for where it's all going to go together at the end. And what you'll want to do is everywhere these pieces of webbing and things touch is throw some hockey tape on there, right? Just 1 or 2 wraps, and that'll help cut down on some of the squeaking, right? And I'll do a diagram at the end of where exactly that should be on this ruck. The demonstration of the taping can be seen on the Malice frame here. I've got tape over at the shoulder strap attachment points, some of the other friction points that I've run into over time, as well as where the bag attaches, shoulder straps at the bottom end, as well as the actual hip belt. Right, and these points will be the same on all frames. Okay, for mounting your hip belt, there's a lot of ways you can do this. There's no real right way, but there is some wrong ways. All right. Don't worry about the rest of the pads or anything. This is going to be your main interface with your body, so this is the one you want to get done first and get done right. You've got 2 horizontal straps and 2 vertical straps. You're going to take your frame. You're going to run your horizontal straps through the metal loops on the frame itself. Then you're going to hold everything in place and flip it over for yourself. Now that you've got it flipped over, you can go ahead and attach your strap running end to the actual buckle end. All right, you might have different types of buckles on here depending on the generation or the brand of pad you're using. All right. Ensure that you have no twists in your webbing. And you're just getting everything loosely in place right now. So that's both our straps completed. No twists, nothing crossing over. Next, you'll flip the frame back over. So the reason I run both horizontal straps through these D-rings is to avoid the hip pad itself sliding up and down on the frame, making a short frame even shorter and causing a lot of bouncing on your ruck, right? So once those are lined up, you can go ahead and tighten them. And then you're going to want to double them back through the buckles so that they avoid slipping. This is where your pliers come in handy. You'll do that with both buckles. I don't recommend taping anything off at this point. Once it's all tightened up and you've used it for a couple of rucks, things will work their way in and loosen up. So you want to re-tighten it, and then you can go ahead and tape off your running ends. There's a couple of methods of doing your vertical straps for your hip pad with different pros and cons. So I'm going to set this up the way I would if I was running this ruck myself to maximize this usable space between the pad and the frame. Simply take your verticals from the top of the hip pad, pass them under the horizontals. Pull them back to the top. And take your bottom vertical straps over the crossbar of the frame and then feed the running ends through the hardware. Again, you're going to want those pretty tight. And what this does is creates a pocket for you behind your hip pad, which we'll show you when we get into actually packing and living out of this ruck, but this is a really handy little spot. Right, and again, you're going to want to double back your running ends, and once everything's settled in and worked in, you'll tape it off. Next is your shoulder strap attachment. Pay attention to your shoulder strap, as you'll notice there is a slight curve. To go with your body, you want the bottom of the curve towards a quick release buckle to bend to the outside as it goes over your shoulder. Take the top portion of the running end, and feed it under this gap in the metal here on the Alice frame. Over top of the bar, and then secure the buckle. Don't worry about your height adjustment for the strap yet. Find it easier just to tighten it all the way to start. Saves things flopping around while you're trying to do the rest of your work. You'll do the same thing on the opposite side. Usually just helps have your chest strap buckled up while you do it so you don't get them crossed over. Next, you're going to want to detach the lower portion from the padded portion for both of them. You'll notice there's a buckle end and a loop end. Start with holding the buckle and the running end facing towards the bottom of the frame. Maintain no twists until you get a hold of the loop. And then feed the loop from the outside through the circle and up. Make sure again you didn't twist it through all that, and take your buckle and put it through the loop, creating a girth hitch. If your straps don't come with strap keepers, this is the time for you to stick a retainer band on there, specifically you jumpy boys. And reattach the buckle. Do the same thing for the other side. Try not to spill your beverage. Again, checking for twists. Shoulder straps attached. Attaching the yoke. Again, lay your yoke face down. Straighten out all your straps. Place your frame face down over the yoke. It may help to detach the quick release on your shoulder straps to keep them out of your way. Your two vertical straps at the top of the yoke will pass in between the shoulder straps over the top of the frame. Make sure there's no twists. I don't recommend going through the metal keepers under the shoulder straps. This is going to cause your yoke to slide down, leaving a gap here, and it's going to expose the back of your neck to this crossbar. Alright, so you want to get that yoke as high as you can. Take your vertical over the top and feed it through its corresponding strap and hardware. Snug it up nice and firm. Again, I don't recommend taping these off until you've used it a couple of times and everything's had a chance to work itself in and loosen up. Then you take your horizontals over top of everything. You want to get those as tight as you can. If you can't get it tight enough, just tie an overhand knot in the buckle end, and that'll shorten the strap for you. And as this new padding works in, you will need to retighten these periodically. Reattach your shoulder straps. Your suspension system's completed. So attaching the main bag to the frame, you're going to have your harness already attached, like we already showed. I took it off so you can see exactly what's going on with the bag attachment. The only difference with the padding attached is you're going to have to reach around in behind things. It's not a huge deal. Bag itself, 2 vertical straps and 4 horizontal straps. Lay your ruck over top, or correction, your frame over the ruck. Take your lower strap, and if you can get it through this slot on the bottom of the frame here, that'll save some wear and tear on the webbing when you put your ruck down. From the back to the front, then you take the top one, secure the hardware. Same for the other side. Okay, so it runs over top of the crossbar. These ones you can tighten down right away, double them back through the hardware and tape them off. Okay, technically your bag is attached now. If you're going to be running cargo straps or anything, that's really as far as you need to go. However, there is some stability to be gained using these side straps. They just wrap over the tubular part of the frame. And just make these ones so that they're snug. I wouldn't over tighten them, or else you start compressing the bag and you'll start losing space within the bag itself. And again, these can be rolled and taped. These ones are a little bit different. They're reversed. Take your metal hardware piece, feed it back through this rectangular opening on the frame. Again, your running end comes into your hardware. On both sides. Bag is now attached to the frame. Cargo strap attachment. Okay, there's all kinds of cargo straps available. You get your Army issued. If you know a rigger or somebody can hook you up with some of these. Good to go. The price is right. commercially available. You can get them with side release buckles, alpine buckles, all kinds of things, right? I don't personally recommend the alpine buckles. They're nice and quick to open, but you're still going to end up undoing all your rigmaroles and things trying to reattach it and retighten it. So if I'm using cargo straps, I just go with these guys, just a standard buckle. Point to note, there is a top and a bottom. The buckle itself, you can see at the bottom here, there's like a tooth. Okay, in the top there appears to be an NSN. I don't know if you can see that, probably not. Okay, so you want to make sure that the tooth goes down to your running end, right? We'll get into that in a minute. I don't recommend the two-piece where it attaches to the top and the bottom. I find that puts a lot of stress on the frame, sort of bending it. I'd like to have the entire strap wrapped around the entire thing, and I also think it helps get a tighter overall package. You can have buckle going from the top to the bottom, or from the bottom up. I prefer bottom up, so when I really want to tighten it down, I could sit on my valise and pull up, and it gets everything really super tight. Again, that's totally personal preference. It's up to you as long as you respect the principles. The attachment points, you're going to want them just outside of your shoulder straps. Okay, not inside. If they're inside, it's too close together, you'll see your valise will start to like balloon up like this. And when you start getting into awkward, non-standard loads, things are going to shift and slide and fall out on you, right? So try to aim for just outside the shoulder strap attachment. Start at the bottom of the frame. Take your strap. Have your tooth end facing down. Okay, that's the tooth going that way, facing down towards the bag, away from the frame. Make a bite. Pass that around the frame. Okay, and you're going to want your buckle end to stay on top of this running end. Give your loop here, or your bite, a half turn. Pull both of these through. Tighten. Don't go super tight just yet. Okay, and what you're going to want is your buckle roughly lined up with the top of your pouches. Okay, up around here somewhere. Right, you don't want them up super high because you'll end up maxing it out towards the frame. And if it's super low, you won't be able to get any good leverage on the actual buckle, right? So once you've tightened that little girth hitch, lift your buckle end and pass your running end back up through behind the frame. Over pad side of the crossbar. Into this void here. And again, through this little triangle gap around the frame. Rework your hands back down. Looking for twists. Take your twists out. Okay, back under the ruck and find your buckle end. And again, ensure the tooth is facing towards the ruck, right? That bitey part of the buckle. And then just loosely feed this through so that it's out of your way. You're going to run into your strap sliding off the side of your frame like that. It's going to happen. So you got a couple of ways of dealing with that. tape it in place, some kind of X pattern. You can take your paracord with your scissors and that little metal keeper underneath your shoulder strap. Feed the paracord through. And then tie it around your frame and your A7A strap. Alright, that'll keep it from sliding off. Doesn't have to be any fancy knot. However, if you want to be airborne, maybe a surgeon's and locking knot. You'll do the same thing on both sides. So if you look at my cargo straps, I went through the loop, the fixed loop that's attached to the buckle, and I fed through some lightweight bungee, some of that small, like 1/8 mil, or I don't know what it's called. It's just like shoelace thickness. And I put a cord lock on it. So when I have this dangly nonsense, I can tuck it into my bungee and snug it up. Okay, that keeps you from having running ends flapping all over the place, and it also kind of keeps some of the snow and ice out of the actual moving pieces of your buckle. Alright, now we're talking about the valise. Alright, this is the Warrior Gear 3 pocket. It's got its new version of the flap, if you're into that kind of thing. Right. I can get 24 hours of food per pouch when you break down your rats. Alright, but that comes into play with your principles of packing. Alright, I'll show you that when we actually attach it to the ruck, because it does add weight. You're going to find that this is huge, and when you pack it, it's going to end up lopsided. Okay, so you can see this is flush with the pocket here. We got a 3 or 4 inch extension on this side, right? That's not going to work out very well for you when you want to tie it in with your cargo straps or your lid or whatever you got going on. So what I like to do is press everything down, shake it out, and try and center whatever I've got inside there in the actual valise itself. Start with the compression paracord, gentle tug, tighten it up. And you put your hand on these top two D-rings here, really squeeze it down. Right, and then personally I secure it, a little quick release slip knot, tuck away the excess. With your main closure, same thing, you want it as tight as you can. Right, this valise is huge, so it's not often that it's going to be over full or tough to close. But if you've got one of the issued valises, or if you do have a substantial size of gear in your valise and you can't quite get that thing closed, I find it helps put your arm through the string over your shoulder, and then practice your chest compressions for CPR training and get that nice and tight. We're going to close it off. And same thing, just make a quick release of some sort. I like to scrunch up the carrying handle end just to make sure everything's nice and stable. And then I go ahead with the compression straps. I haven't decided personally. I usually cut this flap off with these straps. I don't bother with it. I just cinch everything down with the paracord itself, and I run it through the handle just to close it in tight. I don't like the time and effort wasted on all these extra straps that are not of any real importance to me. Okay, so you can see now I've got more of an even gap on either side of the pockets, right? You can massage that. Try to keep everything centered. Alright, putting your valise on your bag. First thing you want to do is make sure you can get this bag itself as tight as you can. And it'll make for a better shelf for your extra load, whether it's jerry cans, radios, dead deer, whatever you want to use. All right. You can put your air mattress underneath the flap. You can put it over top of the flap. You can bungee it over top of everything at the end so you can get to it quicker. That's your call. Maybe I'll make a video down the road. But that's not what this is about, right? Your valise. In the pictures, you're going to see it generally set up something like that. Okay? I don't really subscribe to that when you've got external pockets. This is the kind of thing you're going to want to put heavy stuff in to begin with, right? Extra batteries, extra ammo, extra garbage from your warrant, all right? So for me, I like to put them face up, all right? Make sure that all the strings and the D-rings and everything are still up against the top flap or the frame. And then your cargo straps can come and they fit nice and snug in between the pockets. Do up your cargo strap. And I like to keep these pockets in line with the frame. Right, don't let it twist over. Push the valise against the frame and pull out on the strap. Give you a bit of a loose end there, and then tighten it up some more. Right, that's for both sides. Deal with your excess as you see fit. Depending on how much excess you have, what you've got for straps, you can tuck them right up under these pockets. If you're in a hurry, you can tuck them in between the valise and the main bag. Whatever your choice is, all right? I like these little bungees if I've got the time, all right? But you're not always going to have the time. Another perk to having my pockets on top, when I ruck flop, it's right there ready. I can get whatever I need without flipping things over and things falling out on me. Now that our ruck's basically built, we'll talk about that gap again. Okay, as you can see, there's quite a void here behind the hip pad in the frame. So you can do things like get these little Canex pouches. Right, if I'm hunting, this is where I'm keeping my game bags, my tags, all my like kill kit stuff. For military work, that could be an OP kit, a little grab bag, whatever you think of, extra first aid supplies. Right, that sits right in there. And then you're just going to tie this off, right? Anything attached to your external frame. External of the bags, you're going to want to tie off paracord, carabiner, whatever you want. Okay, another option. Drop your hydration up in there, right? Same thing, a little loop, paracord, whatever you want, right? You got room in there for it. You can tuck a poncho in there, it'll fit really good too. You can tie more bungees off just to help secure that stuff, right? Obviously, when you're jumping, you're not going to want to have a whole lot in there unless you want to lose it, right? But the world's your oyster with that. Once you've got your ruck built, you take it out for a few little tours around town. That's where you're going to play with these adjustments, all right? Take a side view of yourself, get a friend to take a picture, look in the mirror, and try and see where these pads are contacting you the most. That'll help you determine how long you want it to be. All right, I'm a big bastard, so I have them pretty maxed out. But you can shorten them to fit, all right? Make sure you try it on with your body armor too. I find that once you've got your happy length, tape everything off as per normal. And then right up here against the frame, try and tape that as tight as you can, and that'll help stop some of the twisting and the flopping of the strap when you take it on and off. maybe stop you from being that guy going on a ruck with your strap inside out. So that's a quick and dirty little video, alright? Just wanted to get something out to you guys quick this week so you could get back on your feet and get rocking. I will make better quality videos in the future with some more tips and tricks and how to maximize the use of this ruck. Right, I've been using this for almost 20 years overall, 15 years reg force, some time in the old jumpy company there, and I keep coming back to it. I can't let it die. It's the best ruck that we have is a jump ruck, in my opinion. So I hope this helps some of you guys out.